Welcome to our Biz Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Cuthbert, Creative Director at Baker Creative. Joe Case is an Associate Vice President of Corporate Marketing for the Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company, a lead public relations strategy and consulting role he accepted in 2005. Accredited in APR by the Public Relations Society of America. Joe is a graduate of Mount Vernon Nazarene University with a bachelor's degree in communications and a master's degree in religion from Northwest Nazarene University. His previous roles including being Director of Public Affairs for both the Ohio Auditors of State and Ohio Attorneys General Office and a state reporter for WBNS Radio. Joe enjoys spending time with his family, assisting with his church, and following the Cincinnati Reds, Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Drum Corps International. Welcome, Joe, to our podcast. Welcome to our Biz Huddle podcast. We're so excited to have you, Joe Case. You're the Associate VP PR at Nationwide Insurance.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So I appreciate your time and coming on to our podcast. And I think a lot of people would learn a lot of interesting things about not only your job and your role, but also about Nationwide and the challenges they face and how sometimes it'd be kind of difficult to be in the insurance space.
It's difficult, but a challenge is always fun. There's never a boring day.
I'm sure it's not. So, I was kind of wondering, in the line of business that you guys have, what's the biggest line of growth that you guys are experiencing right now? Because you guys have a lot of variety in the offerings that you have.
Yeah, Nationwide has a pretty diverse portfolio of products. I think a lot of people know the company as an auto or home insurance company, but we're as big in the financial services, retirement planning sector as we are in the property and casualty sector. So a diverse set of products from 401ks to auto insurance to pet insurance. We cover so many different fronts. We really do strive from a mission standpoint to protect people in their lives. So protection is kind of the watchword of our business. And 2020 has been an interesting year, so to speak, for, I think, both insurance purposes and for financial services, retirement planning. But given the strength of our portfolio, we feel really good about how we entered the year, and we feel really, really good about how we're going to end the year up.
Well, I think with such a variety of different offerings that you have, talk about some of the strategy, high level of trying to handle such a wide portfolio.
Well, I think it all starts with your audience, right? You have to know who your target audience is. And for Nationwide, we get very, specific in who is the end user of our product. And a lot of our audiences also, quite frankly, are the intermediaries who sell our stuff to our policyholders. And so there's a message for the consumer audience, there's that B2C message, and then there's that B2B message that we also focus on. But it all starts with the audience, and then we try to build tailored strategies for audiences and products across the board.
So how do you guys keep priorities straight when you have so many lines like that?
It's a challenge. It's really a challenge. And so we try to stay very closely connected with our business partners and get a feel for where their priorities are. This year has been an interesting year where fewer people are driving, so we've had to offer solutions to meet people there. It's been a year of market volatility. So when you think about people's 401k plans, we have had to, manage that type of situation too. And so it's just a matter of finding the sweet spot. The nice thing about having a broad portfolio of products is we have the opportunity to be flexible and lean into areas that are going to be profitable for us.
So what do you think your largest or your biggest challenge has been due to COVID outside of, you saying people less or driving less?
Oh, yeah. To me, the two biggies have been, how to help people discover that value with regard to their insurance policy is they're driving less. We've had the economic impact. A lot of people out of work. A lot of people are trying to figure out how to make ends meet with their budget. So one of the challenges for us is to educate consumers how to do that. and really lean into the different levers they can pull up products so that they can change a deductible and have a higher deductible, and that brings their monthly insurance rate, or try a different type of product based on their current needs that really gives them an opportunity for bigger savings than they ever thought they'd be eligible for, with regard to like the data-driven telematics products that we offer for auto insurance. And then in the retirement plan space, a lot of it is education, right? Because everybody, when you get into a market like we experienced earlier this year, people are asking the question, should I change my investment strategy for my retirement in my 401k? And if you thought you needed to bail out of the market back in March when things were cratering, you're probably regretting that today because of the way that the market's turned around. So a lot of what our team does is educate participants when they come in and really communicate clearly and transparently with them with regard to staying the course, because history tells us when you stay the course, these downtimes are moments to buy, opportunities to buy. And so I think a lot of people benefited by just staying the course earlier this year, and now they're really glad they did when you see where the markets are as we wind up 2020.
Now, historically, when I've talked to other companies, it seems like some companies have found new areas or new pockets of audiences that they never had before pre-COVID, or they've also recognized that maybe their customers have shifted in a different capacity, maybe the needs. And it sounds like you guys have adjusted a lot to the needs. Has personalization made a big component of how you engage these people?
Yeah, I think personalization is what it's all about. I think that's being able to personalize that offer, meet a consumer where they're at is huge. For us, it's kind of like, talk about new opportunities. We're the number one provider of pet insurance. How many people got a pet in 2020 to help cope with everything that's going on? I know I've got a puppy scratching at my door outside of my office right now here. So pet insurance, a huge opportunity. And again, with the changing behaviors, people doing remodeling in their homes, driving less, great opportunity for insurance savings to be realized, and conversations with your agent or broker to talk about, what do I need to do to protect my home now that I've made all these upgrades? Or what do I need to do to save money because I'm driving like 80% less now than I used to be in this work from home environment that many people, not everybody, but many people are in.
Understood. So Nationwide providing reassurance to its members in a year of uncertainty. And I know you guys are really good about research and insights. Can you speak about that?
Yeah, I think what we've found over the years, and it's hard to do, just up front, what it's hard to do, but the insurance and financial services category is pretty low on the engagement and involvement scale. A lot of our customers, they don't deal with their insurance unless they need to deal with it, right? And a lot of our financial services customers, they just save, they have that auto withdrawal happening all the time, and they're not thinking about it. So the engagement level is very low. People, they take a look at their auto insurance and home insurance every 6 months to a year, just based on when their policies. So people do a lot of shopping. But one of the things that we've done has been very helpful to really build brand awareness is to leverage data. What I think it's pretty common as newsrooms get smaller, as the media gets more hyper focused on particular topics, and as their audiences fragment more and more, the equation for driving media coverage is really built around creating value for the media outlets that we work for, so that they can create value for their audiences. So, we found that if we take a product and try to push it to the media and ask them to write a story, they're going to say, go buy an ad, right? Because that doesn't really meet the need of their audience. But if we're able to tell a compelling story, leveraging real data and real people, and providing insights that are helpful to our media partners' audiences, they are much, much more eager to listen and to write a story that eventually leads to a solution that we're trying to sell. But if you lead with product, you're not going to get there. But if you can lead with insights, that we have found is a real winning formula to help tell the story in a really, really powerful way. And some of the ways you do that: primary research, you can go pay for a poll, right, to be fielded for your organization. But I think that another opportunity that a lot of organizations may be missing is right under their nose. How can you mine your own customer data in a safe way, legally, protecting privacy and not breaking any type of regulatory rules? But there's powerful opportunity to mine your own data to look for consumer trends and tell compelling stories and position your organization as a thought leader. That's true for a big organization like Nationwide, but I think that's true for a lot of organizations.
So aligning yourself with what customers are really looking for, I think that's wonderful. So I know that a lot of times when we work at organizations, what do you see other, maybe not even in your own segment, companies, what kind of mistakes do you see them making when it comes to engagement or public relations?
Well, I think that not starting with the audience, right? I think that, how many pitches fall flat because they just miss who the real end user is, who the real end audience is. And I think if you always get really focused on who's my audience with this pitch or with this campaign, and if you can really let all of your creative thinking and problem solving stem from that end user audience and what needle you're trying to move with that audience, I think that's the place to go. So many times, I'm sure you face it with clients, and we have, we're human too in terms of interacting with our business partners. But so often they'll come to you and say, "Hey, I want a blog post, or I want a video, or I want my picture in the paper, even, that kind of stuff," which is great. I mean, that's an outcome that they're trying to describe. We get bombarded with tactical requests for outcomes. And I think as good counselors, what I try to encourage my team to do is turn that conversation around and say, well, first of all, who are you trying to talk to and what's the business problem you're trying to solve? Really getting to the heart of understanding that first helps you counsel your partner to the optimal tactics and the optimal strategy that will solve their business need. And I found in my experience, if you just take the time to ask some strategic questions, regardless of what they ask about, it puts you in a much better position to be able to counsel back to the right strategy or answer, which may not even be what they thought they wanted. And you may wind up giving them something that's easier to pull off, cheaper to pull off, and something that they're even more jazzed about because they just weren't thinking about it.
Well, I think a lot of times, and I totally agree with you, we come from a space of consumer centric and trying to solve problems. That being said, sometimes customers don't really understand what PR is and what its role is. Do you come across that internally?
Oh, yeah. We're always educating about, and I'm a big advocate. It's not just media relations, it's public relations, right? Media relations is a segment of the public relations discipline. And quite frankly, I'm of the philosophy that public relations is really a part of the marketing discipline. As we move into, further into the 21st century, the merging of marketing and public relations is blurring. But I think that the public relations function is unique. It provides a unique set of value with regard to reputation management, that relationship management component. That is so necessary, that ties together marketing and thought leadership and government relations and stakeholder relations and customer relations. There's this reputation filter that I think allows the PR function to bring to the table that's based in not only that journalistic kind of experience, but we're also, quickly moving into this era where we're able to tap data to inform our thinking and our recommendations. So it's an exciting time to be in the discipline, I think.
So does that help you further advise the executive team, especially during this pandemic?
Oh, I mean, data will liberate any strategy. So if you have, a lot of the data that we use from a public relations standpoint is, through our media monitoring, social engagement, pulling that collective kaleidoscope of interaction points that you're tracking out there and really using a lot of that information to try to spotlight where opportunity exists. A lot of the times where everybody likes to explore the white space, but nobody really knows where the white space is. And I think leveraging data helps you get to the white space and really be creative and innovate into something new and effective.
And how do you envision going forward next year on steps for the brand?
Well, I think that for the insurance category in general, I think that really, I think you're seeing companies step up. I mean, come on, insurance is the backbone of capitalism. Without risk management that comes through the insurance industry, our economy doesn't function because the insurance industry provides a level of confidence that parties will be made whole. And I think in uncertain times, risk management organizations like the insurance companies really offer confidence and a path forward. So I think there's a huge opportunity for the industry moving forward to be a proactive player in helping the economy recover and helping demonstrate support for getting into and moving into a post-pandemic world. I think the industry has a lot to offer in terms of thought leadership, technology advancements with regard to data mining, data analysis, and data application. I think that 2021 is going to be a huge year for the industry to create that certainty in an uncertain world, and to do so in a way that really helps us all pivot into whatever the new normal is, whenever the new normal arrives.
Understood. My last question is, so can you speak to, like, it seems like a lot of folks are working from their houses. How challenging is that to run a team when we're all kind of in different spaces?
It's interesting because I think the technology has really been a game changer for organizations with regard to the pandemic. Where would all of us be without the internet in 2020? And I think about big business. I think about small business. I think about, like societal institutions like houses of worship. And I think of charities, the nonprofit community. I think that I saw a quote earlier this year in the Wall Street Journal from a CEO from a farm implement company. And it was a really, I thought, really insightful quote, because he was like, the pandemic has accelerated our comfort level and adoption of digital tools online, like this tool we're using here right now, probably faster than it probably fast forwarded us 10 years into the future in terms of adoption. So for me, Nationwide had been using and leveraging some of the technology, the teaming technology, dabbling our toes into the water just a little bit late in 2019. And then all of a sudden the pandemic happened, and having the Zoom technology or the Microsoft Teams or the Skype technology available really made the transition for us seamless. And, I speak for my team, but I feel more connected to my team now than before the pandemic, because we're connected through the technology. We're enabled by the technology, but we've also adopted some new rituals, right? So it used to be we would come to work and do our thing. Every day for 30 minutes at 9:00, my entire team gets together every single day. And we just kind of run through what's going on today, what's going on tomorrow, who needs help. And I've got people that work in New York City. I've got people remotely working, in different states. And in the past, they felt disconnected from the team at the home office in Columbus. But what's happened with technology has really been an equalizer for them. And it's enabled them to become more closely integrated within the group. I think that we've been able to execute our plans. And boy, there was a lot that we executed this year that wasn't in the plan, just because of all of the pivoting that we had to do. And I'm sure that's the story for everybody. But I really feel like at the end of the day, we were effective. We're more closely knit. I feel like my team's engagement level is higher than it ever has been, in spite of all of this craziness that's going on out there. And I think we'll continue to leverage this moving forward, the technology. And I think that the challenge for all of us, regardless of the industry we work in, regardless of the discipline, is going to be what is that new normal? How do we shift into that? What are the workplace implications? How can we be inspiring leaders electronically and be, really continuing to be empathetic with where people are coming from in the midst of all of this uncertainty? I don't know about you, but for me, work has been a place of sanity a little bit because I feel like I'm grounded, and not everybody. I'm sensitive to saying that because not everybody can say that because there are a lot of people who have been unemployed by the pandemic across the United States this year in historic proportions, and so I think that moving forward as people restaff into different positions and whatnot, there's going to be a lot of catharsis in getting a lot of people back to work so that they can gain that stability that we probably all took for granted from our work prior to 2020.
I think well said. I think that's a wonderful thing to obtain if you can feel like you're more close knit as a team. And I know it does shift the dynamic when not everyone's in the office versus people that are remote. And it kind of made an even playing field in a lot of different ways. But to be able to rely on each other is a wonderful thing, especially the size that Nationwide is, how vast it is. To still feel like you're a close knit group is wonderful.
Yeah. And I think that, the culture that you are cultivating within your organization is so critical. The technology is one piece of it, but having culture that's top down, supportive, and really cares about people has just paid off and dividends for Nationwide in 2020. And I know of many other organizations that are kind of in the same place. It all starts with, valuing people. It all starts with cultivating a culture. And if you have, if you're prioritizing your talent and you have a culture that values people, you combine that with the technology and really, great opportunities in the business world. I think we have proven, a lot of us have proven in 2020 that we didn't miss a beat in a lot of different ways. But we miss being in the workplace, and we'd like to be back at some point in the future. So,
well, hopefully the vaccine will change that, and I think it will.
We hope.
Yeah, we all hope. So I appreciate, Joe, with all your time and giving your advice and being able to share that with everyone. And I think a lot of people will be able to really learn from what you're doing in your department and how you're engaging with your team and just the way that Nationwide has been able to shift directions and really listen to that core customer. I think that's a great example for other organizations to really have someone to look up to as far as a good standard of what to do, Thank you so much.
Path forward.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for your time. If you're interested in learning more, visit our website at bakercreative.co.